Hey everybody, Pen Name Jay here, and it's time for me to do something I haven't been doing for a while. Something that I'm going to be calling a comic catch-up. This is where I talk about the comics I got and didn't really talk about, but instead of me just, talking about one issue, I'm going to be talking about multiple issues of these said comics. So not talking about issue number 1 of Teen Titans or something like that. And I feel that it would be a good start for my catch up by talking about the New 52. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, first up is Justice League. I only got one issue of Justice League only because I was totally curious about what the New 52 was going to be about. And sadly, the only reason why I'm not continuing to get any Justice League comics is because it's not a part of my budget. Usually each week I try to get comics that are less than $20, a cumulative amount that's less than $20. And the only way I can do that is if I get my comics, if I get like 4 or 5 comics, because usually that would add up to like $18, and I never try to go over $20. Anyway, I'll wait for the trade for that, because I know that it's a good story. I mean, it seems like it has a good start. It's just, I don't want to wait month after month just to see what happens next. I'd rather just get it all in one shot. Okay, second up is Static Shock. It has a fast start. You see Virgil in his costume, his new costume. He's running around New York City. He has to stop this big, giant, flaming orb just running around, causing havoc. He saves some people. The New Yorkers don't really like him much because he's acting like an idiot, superhero type idiot, causing batteries to die and all that other stuff. But after the first issue, things are still too fast. First, we get Hardware sent to New York. He's working at Star Labs in New York because that's what Hardware does. Now, we don't see Hardware again because, of course, he's still living in Dakota. But all of a sudden, you find out that he has his his sister has a clone. That his sister has a clone, and they don't know who's real and who's not. And I was like, I've read every Static comic, and his sister never had a clone. So that kind of came out of left field. So I was always hoping that that they were going to talk about that later, and that's the big thing, is finding out where did the clone came from and what happened in one of these adventures that this happened. And I would very much love to have a flashback on what happened. And going down to the Superman, the only one that I'm collecting from the Superman part of DC is Superboy. And out of the 3 stories that Scott Lobdell is writing, I'm having a hard time following this one. This one is usually a blah thing. Whenever I read it, and then when I put it down, I quickly forget about it. And that's meaning that I'm not well entertained by this. The other thing is, Superboy has a power. His original power, when created, was called Tactile Telekinesis, or TK. And this TK power that he uses allowed him to lift heavy things with his mind, making it look like he had super strength, as well as giving him the ability to fly and a minor force field, in a way, giving him his invulnerability. And when Superboy had those powers, it was so that, he can look like he is Superman, in a way. But, yes, he has Superman's DNA, but he didn't have his powers. He only had one power, which was tactile telekinesis. A lot of people know Superboy from the television show now, and he has limited powers, which is just super strength, jumping high, and minor invulnerability. But that's about it for Superboy in the Young Justice cartoon. But in the Superman cartoon, and the Superman comic, he didn't have his powers whatsoever. He started developing his powers when he first started in the Teen Titans. That's when he started getting Superman's powers. So, I know a little more about that, but that's only because I was a Young Justice fan. His tactile telekinesis is his main use in this one, so they're, doing it all over again. But this time around, it's a little overpowered, because all he's saying is, I know what's going on behind this wall. There's two people in there. Do you have X-ray vision? No, I'm using my tactile telekinesis. What? So we don't really know the limit of his powers, so it's a little overpowered. And because I wanted to see him use other powers other than that, it's a little overused. We've seen him with Superman powers before. I don't want to go back to him just having tactile telekinesis and using that one power to replace everything he normally had beforehand. The secret organization Nowhere has been dealt with between Teen Titans and Superboy, and still, no matter what comic it came from, I'm not interested in Nowhere. And the only reason why I'm going to still collect Superboy is because it's tied into Teen Titans. So jumping to Teen Titans. Honestly, I did not like the first issue only because I wanted more. By the time I finished the first issue, I was like, that's it? I want more. I want more. I want more! Like, I wanted to flip the last page and then magically see more pages of the comic appear so I can read more. I loved the first issue because it was fun. A little dry, but because by the end of it, you expect it to get a little juicy, a little better. And that's why I love the second issue, because I got my fix. Yeah. But one problem that I did have with Teen Titans is the transition between the issues. The issues transitions are kind of weird. Usually the issues start off with a little bit of time passing by as soon as, the situation is done. And everybody is everywhere. Like, 1 second Tim is in New York, then you pick up the third issue, he's in a train heading either west or south, I don't know, but he's on a train heading somewhere, and he is far from New York. He is far from New York from the second issue. So it seems a little jumpy to me at times. The comic is still entertaining, but, Scott Lobdell got to be a little careful doing this if he's going to, start a continuous arc. Because right now, all they're trying to do is get the team together, so they need to do some time skips. But once that team is together, what's going to happen when they have to deal with one big threat and one situation that they have to get out of? That's when you really want them to slowly get that out of the way. And I know that more likely how he's going to write it is he's not going to have the entire team dealing with one giant threat. He's going to have part of the team dealing with one thing as a part of the team deals with another, and if it's really big, all of them are going to come together. That's what it's going to sound like. That's how I feel about Teen Titans, but we're only up to the third issue.